I mean, right now, I know there may be a possibility of Randy Orton and Aleister Black doing something, but what is Randy Orton doing now? We're seeing nothing from him since Super Showdown. He's just so weird to believe that the type of character he is, he just doesn't want to do anything. He's just having a little break because he's happy to let all the mid-carders just take that heavyweight title and just run with it. And
yeah. Yeah, we don't have to see him. It's just like Finn Balor, we don't see these guys, and then all of a sudden they're there. And something else that got sort of thrown out there, Matt, was Ricochet and AJ Styles. Again, it appeals to me as a great match, but, I feel like, are we waiting for AJ now to turn heel, Matt? Is that another way they're going to go with him, or are they just going to do the whole handshake at the end type move with him? Do you feel?
It does feel like that. And although I felt kind of like it might have happened on Raw, and then it was a bit of a twist and a shock to me the way that all went down. But he's definitely out of nowhere, isn't it? Very convenient. He's having a lot of dealings with the former Bullet Club members, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, isn't it? It's a bit too convenient. This is all coming about at this kind of time. But I'm not too sure. If they're going down this route, why does Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows keep being made to lose?
Well, probably because they're not signing their contract, I believe, from the reports.
Terrible,
coming out.
though, isn't it? They know the Bullet Club connections there, and this is going to be what they're going to try and market here, but it's really not making it look great if they're going to keep losing on TV like that.
Yeah, and it's kind of pointless segments as well, like AJ, I don't want you out here. Okay, it takes all that time, and then what is the point? It's just so old stuff now as well, because don't forget when AJ came in, he'd done a heel turn with those guys. It was all done then against Roman. We've already seen all that, so why they're trying to retread old steps there, I have no idea if they're not going to actually do anything, which I suspect they're not. I think they're just trying to tease everybody with it. They're just trying to get as much out of Anderson and Gallows before they go, because they've reportedly they've turned down 2 contracts, so highly unlikely now that they're going to sign, and they're just going to go. They're going to get the harsh treatment out the door. That's what WWE are doing these days. Instead of having guys just thrown off the roster, you don't see them. They like now to exploit them on TV, don't they? They certainly showed that in the last few times. So yeah, fascinating change. I'm not sure how I felt about it. The audience in the crowd wasn't great either. Now, I know The Undertaker, granted, he was not advertised to show up, so that, is a gimme. But, it's small steps. I can see WWE are trying new things. You can definitely see it, but it's almost like they're trying too many things at once. And I think that there's almost too many chefs in one kitchen in that place at the moment. I feel like having a couple of heads would be a lot better than all the heads they've got there at the moment. In personally, but it's so much stuff going on, and so much roster that you just hard to know where everyone's going next. But I suspect, Matt, that Extreme Rules, although it's called Extreme Rules, it's not going to be quite Extreme Rules. I always find it difficult to have that kind of pay-per-view without the use of blood and colour anyway, so it's always kind of slightly toned down, and like a TLC pay-per-view or anything else, they kind of get rolled up into one for me. But yeah, they'll try and sell it that this is the night, the one night of the year we go extreme, and you get all that.
Do you get any more extreme than a mixed tag match, really?
Exactly. How extreme are we going to get? I'm sure Shane will try something extreme. I'm sure of it. I'm sure we're going to see a huge stunt, as Rusev calls him, the stunt man, Shane O'Mac. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. Matt, anything else you wanted to talk about from Raw that's going on currently, or in WWE? I know just before I leave my bit, Drake Maverick. What a wedding. Congratulations to Drake Maverick. He got married. Apparently he was all for it, and wow, they had that moment on it where R-Truth won it back. No expense spared, is there, with that belt? They'll do it anywhere. But yeah, well, that was amusing. I'm not sure if I'm. Some people love that and some people hate it. I'm on the fence of I just don't like it because it just. I was around when we had the hardcore belt and it's just such a cheap version of it in a way. But yeah, I can see why it's got its appeal because it's different and we're crying out for something different. So I think there is an audience there for it because the basically Raw and SmackDown for the majority of times are so bad that we're waiting for something like the 24 title just to give us something different. I feel a bit like the Firefly stuff. I feel like people like that because it's just so different from the norm. But anything you wanted to talk about there, Matt, with WWE currently?
Oh yeah, the slow, gradual decline of the women's division. That's what I'm going to get to. That whole thing they have back there. Did you? You must have seen it when Alexa Bliss and Nikki, and then Naomi and Natalia come over. Like it's almost like a high school thing, isn't it? You don't want to be friends with her. She's a mean girl. She's gonna bully you, and then like it's terrible.
Yeah, who the hell is writing this stuff? I mean, seriously. You know, they tell you they're from ex-movie writers. Well, what kind of movies are they writing here? You know? Are they writing kindergarten stuff or what? You know, like Sabrina? I mean, it's incredibly bad. It's not great. You know, you look at all what's on TV now, and, you know, I always think WWE and comedy just do not work. I don't know what writers they got for their comedy, but it doesn't never work in wrestling. You've got to be bloody good at it, and there are very few times where people get away with it. Now, I'll say Mick Foley was pretty decent back in the day. I would say anyone in that sort of attitude era could probably get away with it because it wasn't PG. But in a PG era, comedy, I'm telling you, that type of stuff, for a writer to be trying to do that is just... It just doesn't work. It's so bad. And you put it against TV shows that are out there, and they're not, you know, they're not shows that are past sort of, you know, watershed 9 p.m. These are shows that are on in the day that are still more edgier and funnier than what the WWE content is. So, yeah, they've really got to sort that stuff out. And like you say, with the women's stuff, Matt, I do feel like, you know, love her or hate her since Ronda's gone. There's almost, it's given WWE license to say, you know what, we'll just shuffle them back a little bit because there's going to be no one sort of coming to our attention anymore. Like I feel like now Ronda's name's gone and she's not about. I feel like that's it. I think the one thing Ronda did was she sort of guaranteed that same spot on a pay-per-view, whereas I feel like that's slowly becoming less and less, and who would think it after the first ever women's main event? But you know, the fallout of this year's WrestleMania has been, you know, a landslide in a lot of ways, which is again a massive shame considering Becky Lynch, male or female, was well over, like I say, between the months of October, I believe, and what, mid-February, before they decided to do that whole triple threat business and get everybody on side by doing a very crafty move on that, I might add, because no one wanted the triple threat, as we recall, Matt, at the time. But what did they do? They done something very slimy and said, oh no, it's Becky's going to be replaced by Charlotte, so that way, of course we all wanted a triple threat because we wanted Becky in. So it was a snidey move on their part to get that over. But yeah, looking back at that, it's just a massive shame. And I don't see it. Unless they're prepared, Matt, to do Ronda versus Becky at SummerSlam, I don't see how Becky can get... She needs that rub. She needs a proper rub. And, of course, we all know the ending wasn't as it was supposed to be at WrestleMania. Clearly, it was terrible. It wasn't you know, a terrific ending. It wasn't that big moment they were waiting for that it should have been. And had it have been that, I think this would have been a whole different ball game. But it was so poorly executed. So yeah, that's a little rant there on the women's department. Okay, Matt, I've got some interesting news now, and it's time now, Matt, for you to get a little bit creative now. Going to put ourselves on the spot here. We're coming towards, of course, August. And in August, of course, it is SummerSlam. It's happening in Canada this year. And as a massive thank you to everybody who's supported the podcast, myself and Matt, we are going to be doing a retrospective on one of 4 SummerSlams. Now, here's how it's going to work. Matt, you're going to choose one of these 4 SummerSlams, and I'll choose another one as well. And then the 2 that we put up are going to then be voted by the listeners to the one that we will do the retrospective on at least a week before this year's SummerSlam. And the years we have, Matt, we're going to do it in basically going back 10 years here. So we've got the choice, Matt, of SummerSlam 1989. We've got SummerSlam 1999. We've got SummerSlam 2009, and we've got a SummerSlam in there in the middle of nowhere, SummerSlam 1992. Now out of those, Matt, what one do you want to go for?
I'm thinking 89.
Yeah, okay, he's going to go 89. Now I'm going to go different one. I'm going to go with 1999. I'm going to cut one out. I'm going to go 1999. So we're going to put that to a poll, and we'll see which one wins. And the one that wins that you guys want to see most and listen to most, and a watch along with us, we will be doing. So 1989 or 1999. We'll see which one wins. And it'll be good to go through that. Okay, let's move on to other things now, Matt. Of course, it's all been kicking off on social media the last couple of days, isn't it? Seth Rollins made a few interesting comments, Matt, about literally coming out. It looks like it's almost sort of got to him in the last sort of 48 hours, because I've not seen him like this before on social media, but pretty much defending WWE in a lot of ways. What did you make to his comments, Matt, about the comment about, WWE is the greatest pro wrestling product out there on the planet, something along those lines? Interesting statement, wasn't it, that he made there? And then, of course, he sort of, he said he had another one go out as well, which sort of was about, what they did, and a great triple threat match for the cruiserweights, and there's no one else that can do it like that. And I noticed that Will Ospreay put in I'm Alive, and then, God dear, he certainly got a backlash from that from Seth Rollins, and then Chris Jericho chimed in as well. Interesting, all that, isn't it, Matt? The fact that I said to you at the time, it seems more interesting on Twitter than it does on the shows at the moment. What did you make for Seth Rollins doing that? And is that just him becoming a sort of, he is the WWE Universal Champion? Does he feel that's his duty? Does he really believe that, do you think? Or is he trying to just get under the skin of, and maybe, or is he just fed up with the fans that are constantly, disliking the product?
I guess it is a bit of frustration there, isn't it? He's trying hard to take it to new levels. But the funny thing is, when the crowd turns on WWE product, it quite often is during a Seth Rollins match. Now, I don't know whether that's a coincidence or whatever, or is that because he's getting those kind of spots. But wow, there's that Dolph Ziggler match, and then there's a lot of these things where they sort of turn on the matches that he's part of, and I'm not sure why, but it's happening, and this didn't make it any better. Coming out with statements like this, it's almost like you think at times his ego is like growing and growing, and although you need a bit of one to get to the point where he's at, and you need to believe in yourself, it does become, you're going to get questions thrown at you when you start throwing around that you're the best in the world, and especially at a time when there's such a competition. Yeah,
I was going to say, it couldn't have come at a worse time to make that kind of statement when, ratings are the worst they've been in God knows how long. And just, he must know. I mean, look, one of his best buddies, John Moxley's out there currently I mean, he's the biggest guy who's put in a lot of, he's saying it's too scripted, and we hear all these things. He must share some of that belief, you would imagine. Now, of course, I put this up literally about, I don't know how long ago, but it's 6 hours ago.